Here are two small changes that you can make in your language that will open up so much possibility in your communication. It will make your communication less violent and more efficient. And I'm sharing this because yesterday I made a video and there was something that I said that I wish I had chosen my words more carefully. And I'll explain. So the first thing is to, and this is straight out of Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg, which is just amazing. The first thing is to replace always and never with often and rarely. Just by doing that, you open up so much more possibility. So right now, I find that we are overusing these words. We are saying, he always does that, she never does that. But when you really think about it, do they always, 100% of the time, always? Do they never, never, ever, ever? Usually that's not the case. So when you say often or rarely, you are being less violent in that you're not making such a strong assumption. You're leaving space and room for the possibility for change. And this is a sad story, a sad side story, but when my mother was very sick and right before she passed, I was reading to her in bed. She was in bed. I was reading to her and she sat up somehow and she said, Jess, it's often, not often. The T is silent. I was like, okay. And then she said, that's really going to help you. And I share that only because I find that about 75% of the population says often. I mean, everyone says often. But in this case, I can say always and never, that I always say often and I never say often. So if you want to switch over to often instead of often, my mother will be happy. Okay, so then the second thing to do, so always, often and rarely are just a wonderful way to soften up your language, and it's more efficient because again, you're leaving space open and you're being more specific. The more specific we are in our communication, just like the more specific we are in our movement, the more efficient that we can be. So the second thing is to be strategic about the word actually. So when you start a sentence with actually, you are basically negating everything that you just said or that somebody else just said. You're saying actually, the meaning of it is saying that this is actually the truth. So yesterday in my video, I was talking about unbendable arm and I was saying, okay, relax your shoulder. And then I said, actually, most people can't relax in their shoulder. Well, that just undid everything I was saying. And I don't know that I said most people, I don't know that most people can't relax in their shoulder. I haven't done a survey of the